Hello, welcome back to Fires Gaming. My name is Ben, and today we're going to continue on with Suzerain 2.0. So, last time out, we attended the Ashraf Anniversary Memorial, got an update on our current political situation, got some funding from the CSP to help build our agriculture sector, and opted against spending any money to expand our industrial sector. So, yeah, let's see here. Looks like we got two newspapers. Let's see what's going on here. Alright, from the Lockhaven Times. FC Anarcho wins Swordfish National League. In an exhilarating and unforgettable season, FC Anarcho has etched the name in football history, emerging as the champions of the Swordfish National League, leaving FC Gilzord 5 points behind. The journey to the league title was marked by fierce competition, nail-biting matches, and an unwavering determination from the team. The pivotal moment came in the final match of the season, a thrilling showdown against the perennial rivals FC Gilzord. The match was laden with tension as both teams battled with everything on the line. In front of a raucous home crowd, FC Anarcho showcased their mettle, delivering a stunning 3-1 victory over FC Gilzord. By finishing top of the Swordfish League, FC Anarcho also earned the right to compete in the qualification rounds for the world-renowned international championship, Marcopan Cup. And they would need to face top teams such as Real Monteclar and Coloradspor to be able to qualify for the main tournament. This momentous achievement marks a turning point for FC Anarcho as they reclaim the coveted league title after years of near misses. The club's relentless pursuit of excellence and the relentless dedication of the players have culminated in this crowning glory. Cool. And from Geopolitico, Hegel would take all the necessary steps. In a televised address, Chancellor Emmerich Hegel claimed intensive fighting was taking place between the Agnolian forces and the locals of Helluland, resulting in the massacres of ethnic Vogs living on the island. He portrayed the conflict as a national struggle and compared it to the independence wars of the former colonies in Eureka. Hegel said Volksland, as the guarantor of Helluland's security, would take all the necessary steps to prevent mass atrocities committed against the islanders. Van Horten said in a television interview that Volkslandians must withdraw their harassment squad from the Markian Sea before any diplomatic talks can happen. That's certainly problematic. Alright, see, I don't see any reports. So, let's just head to Whole Sword for the Women's Liberation Act. In collaboration with the Commission on the Status of Women, the Grand National Assembly presents the Women's Liberation Act, aimed at promoting gender equality and women's rights across Swordland. Section 1 of the WLA takes decisive action against domestic violence perpetrated against women. It unequivocally criminalizes such acts, strengthening the legal framework for the protection of women's rights. Subsection 1A of the WLA establishes a system of state protection for victims of domestic abuse. This includes counseling, temporary shelter arrangements, and legal support, ensuring a comprehensive safety net for affected women. Section 2 of the WLA addresses the issue of wage disparity. It mandates equal pay for women, and to support this transition, it provides subsidies to businesses to offset any resulting expenditure differences. Further, it mandates the adjustment of salaries for all female government personnel to ensure pay parity. Section 3 of the WLA highlights the importance of education fostering equality. It mandates that the education system must provide equal treatment to both genders, supporting an environment of fairness and mutual respect from an early age. Section 4 of the WLA makes significant strides towards supporting working mothers. It introduces state-paid maternity leave and establishes state-subsidized daycare centers, ensuring mothers receive the support they need to balance their professional and familial responsibilities. Cool. That is really expensive, but we need to sign it, so we're going to do it. The -4 budget does not make me happy, though, but we should get some more little, tax bills here soon that we can use to offset that. But, let's see, we've got a couple of policy overviews here, or updates, I should say. Let's see, some law policies, Women's Liberation Acts, with excellent women's rights as a green situation, and gender equality in education as another green situation. Fantastic. Alright. That was easy enough. So I guess let's stay in Whole Sword for end of the day at home. Or end of day at the home? Whatever. It was raining. A surge dropped me off at home after yet another grueling day of work. The guard held an umbrella over my head as I walked from the car to my front door. Inside, the house is completely dark. I flipped on the light in the kitchen to find a note from Monica. Ciara had called her in for a last-minute women's rights meeting. She dropped Diana off at a friend's and left me some food for reheating. I took the pot out of the fridge. It was filled with an unidentifiable grayish-looking stew. Evidently, Monica's excellent cooking had been the first casualty of her political career. Honestly, we're just going to order a pizza. I called Serge and asked him to pick me up a pizza for dinner. While I was waiting for him, I went into the living room to fix myself a drink. Suddenly, the phone rang and I went back to the kitchen and answered it. Frank's voice was on the other end. Oh, I thought Mom would pick up. Yeah, sorry, but you're stuck with your old man. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way, just for you to be working. There was a long silence. I got that record you sent me. Not bad for old folks' music. You take that back. How's Uncle Peter doing? Got this one, I guess. Surprisingly well, he's actually seeing a therapist. He may even quit alcohol. Wow, did I just see a pig fly? You know the military is worried about things escalating with Thornburg since you threw Livia in jail. They're moving more and more troops up near Mogwar. Go with that. I don't know. I'll see what I can do to alleviate tensions. The last thing I was my son going into battle. Or anybody, for that matter. So you do care about me now that I'm out of the house. I always did. I'm graduating from basic training soon. The commander says I could be the next Yosef Lancina. I want to pick that old hawk as a role model. Oh, don't say that if you ever visit, assuming you want to leave your legs intact. Honestly, I was so ticked off at you for sending me here, but I'm really starting to like it. Thank God for failure, right? You were never a failure. When the doorbell rang, Serge was here with my pizza. Well, it's about dinner time for me. Yeah, okay. Bye, Dad. We both hung up. I let Serge in. The pizza he brought was gargantuan. Serge, would you like to join me for dinner? There's an FC Anarchy game today. I'd love to set up, but I'm a Susan. I would watch the children tonight. Serge left. So I ate my pizza alone by the flickering light of the television, wondering when Monica and Diana would get home. Nice. Fantastic. Alright, there's a ton of things happening here. Oh, wow, what happened here? Why did my budget just drop even further? That's not good. Let's see what's going on here. Let's start an agricultural zone. The Lorne economy is stabilizing. Cool. Debt crisis, trade... the trade tariffs. Yup, that'll do it. Alright, Gurney is a beacon of success, though, so that's good. And what's going on here? Anti-corruption raids. Cool beans. Alright, well, let's start with some of these reports. So, from Borin. High wine exports to Rizia. Borin is experiencing a significant surge in wine exports to Rizia. The high-quality wines produced in the region, particularly the famous Borin grape variants, are finding a robust market in Rizia. This boost in wine exports is positively impacting Borin's economy and reinforcing its reputation as a key player in the global wine industry. Alright, from Lockhaven, trade tariffs disrupt port and marine commerce. Recent trade tariffs have adversely impacted ship commerce and overall marine trade in Lockhaven. The increased costs of importing and exporting goods have resulted in fewer shipments passing through the city's port, causing a significant slowdown in trade activities. The economic ripple effects of this disruption are being felt by businesses throughout the city. From Sarna, medium investment synergy observed. Moderate level of investment synergy is being observed across several sectors. Investments are generally aligning well and contributing to steady economic progress. While some areas could benefit from improved coordination, overall the positive interplay between various investments is supporting consistent economic growth. And from Whole Sword, date set for Soul's trial. After months of investigations and hearings, the preparations for Tarkin Soul's trial have been completed, and the Supreme Court has announced the date of the trial is next Tuesday. The Supreme Court will deliver its verdict about Tarkin Soul's involvement in crimes against citizens, corruption, murder, and unconstitutional behavior. And back to Lockhaven. Debt crisis shocks the economy. The Central Bank and the Ministry of Economy are tackling the extensive damages caused by the debt crisis and the subsequent credit rating downgrade of Swordland. Both entities are resorting to all sorts of currency and economic control measures to stabilize the volatility triggered by the events. And Fair Trade Commission creates trade regulation. The Fair Trade Commission has begun work on assessing the existing trade irregularities and unfairness. The first act of the Commission will be to create new trade regulations to balance import and export differences to ensure local competition can remain strong. From Narbel, police overwhelmed in remote cities. Since the deployment of the police forces to combat the unrest, many attacks have occurred in remote cities. Ambushes are rampant and the security forces are being pushed back. The police stations and patrols were the main targets of the militants. Unless reinforcements are provided, the current forces are not enough to control the situation. And Sarna, the agricultural zone opens. The Sarna agricultural zone is open to the public. Long lines of farmers are waiting in line to apply for the new cooperation opportunities. The opening is expected to increase the agricultural output of Sarna by 40%. As per the reports, agricultural workers from nearby cities are also migrating, creating an influx of jobs and investments. And from the CSP, Morella marks the first South Maricopa nation candidacy. In an announcement that has significant implications for regional geopolitics, the Republic of Morelia, a progressively governed nation in South Maricopa, has been accepted as a candidate for CSP membership. Morelia's acceptance as a candidate marks a first for the CSP, the Alliance's first South Maricopa nation to begin the process, potentially providing a strategic counterweight to LSP's ATO line influence in the region if they are to pass the requirements in the process. Morelia's candidacy has the potential to expand the sphere of CSP's influence, indicating the Alliance's desire for broader political and economic cooperation in South Maricopa. This development also underscores the CSP's commitment to fostering diverse alliances, advancing the common interests of its close nations while respecting their unique contexts and challenges. And back to the top there. Alright. A lot of reports there, and we have another 7 articles here. So, we start off with 2 from the Whole Sword Post. Let's see. Equa's Insights. ATO and CSP threaten Sword's independence. Renowned former academic and Volpitzer laureate Herman Equa, famed for his books Geopolitics of Swordland and Post-Revolution Synthesis, warns of the growing influence of the ATO and CSP on Swordland. Quoting from his work, he cautions, as our nation becomes a tug-of-war between these powerful entities, the very independence of Swordland is at stake. Our challenge is to navigate these geopolitical currents without surrendering our national sovereignty. Equa's insights have invariably proven prescient in the past, offering sobering perspective on the challenges facing Swordland. And election campaign ramps up across Swordland. The election campaigning efforts have started to pick up speed across Swordland. To become the 5th president of Swordland, the candidates began delivering their speeches at rallies and conventions, while party flags are flying in major cities. The campaign centers are busy with scheduling and organizing events. The exciting times of election are approaching. In the majority of cities, USP appears to be the most prominent, whereas PFJP falls behind along with NFP. It will be thrilling to see the presidential race renew once again for the fast-approaching elections. From The Economist, Swordish debt causes credit downgrade. The credit rating of Swordland has been downgraded after a massive report on government deficit surfaced from the Ministry of Economy. Foreign rating agencies have said that investors who buy government bonds with high interest rates are not likely to see a profitable return on their investment. The widening government budget and the borrowing, which is leading Swordland into a debt spiral it might not get out of, is concerning our analysts about the future of this economy. The reduction from B- to D- will also reduce the chances of attracting foreign investors who seek to invest in the Sword's Ren and the governments. We've got 2 from Lockhaven Times. Swordland's credit rating downgraded, an urgent call for economic reforms. Following the release of a Ministry of Economy report on the government's deficit, Swordland's credit rating has been downgraded to a D-. Analysts express concerns over the country's mounting debt and its impact on attracting foreign investment. This situation highlights the need for immediate economic reforms and a comprehensive strategy to address the growing budget deficit and restore investor confidence. The downgrade has implications for both domestic and international businesses operating Swordland, as it may lead to higher borrowing costs and reduced access to capital. Moreover, it may deter potential foreign investors from entering the storage market, which could hinder economic growth and job creation. Experts suggest that the government should focus on implementing structural reforms to increase economic competitiveness, streamline public spending, and encourage private sector investment. By doing so, Swordland can work towards regaining its financial footing and improving its credit rating. And Vice President recovering from alcoholism. Former Vice President Peter Vectrin is a troubled man who has had a long struggle with alcoholism. The scandal that came to head between himself and President Rain's secretary, Olivia Suno, was the finest straw for Peter to realize they needed help. The former VP stepped down from his position to focus on his health and is beginning his journey to recover from alcoholism. Peter Vectrin serves as a reminder that anyone from any walk of life can be faced with these challenges and should be helped back to their feet. If you or anyone you know has suffered from addiction, reach out to your local sober Swordland representative. And the last point is a very good one. Alright, from the Radical, grand opening of Sarna Agricultural Zone. With the grand opening of the Sarna Agricultural Zone, the mayor of the city expressed tremendous gratitude towards the administration. With the region taking the full damage from the recession, the investment has saved thousands of farmers from bankruptcy while allowing new agricultural entrepreneurs new opportunities. Agricultural products, especially wheat, are expected to increase substantially. In combination with the city being a free trade zone, Sarna is foreseen to thrive and become the center of trade in the region. And Geopolitico. Swordland's debt crash sends shockwaves across international markets. The recent debt crash in Swordland has caused great concern among international financial experts as economic turmoil threatens to impact global markets. The rapid escalation of Swordland's national debt, combined with the government's inability to tackle the crisis, has resulted in a loss of investor confidence and a sharp decline in foreign investments. World-renowned credit rating agencies have downgraded Swordland's credit rating, citing an unsustainable debt spiral and a bleak outlook for the nation's economic recovery. In response to the situation, the MFI has expressed its willingness to intervene and provide financial assistance to Swordland, but only if the government implements stringent austerity measures and enacts much-needed economic reforms. This has sparked a heated debate among Swordland politicians, as many argue that the proposed measures could further exacerbate the already dire economic conditions faced by the general population. As Swordland grapples with its debt crisis, the international community watches anxiously, with experts predicting that the nation's economic collapse could trigger a domino effect, destabilizing regional and potentially global markets. The Swedish government's actions in the coming weeks will be critical not only for the country's economic future, but also for the stability of the world economy. Yeah, I was not expecting another hit from these sanctions. That is certainly problematic. But not much we can do about it now. So, I guess, let's see. Let's just start with these bills here. We have the Human Dignity Bill. Went started at the bottom, that's okay. So, the Human Dignity Bill is set before the Assembly to address an unintended consequence of the 1923 Legal Transactions Act. Section 1 of the HDB revisits and amends Section 3 of the aforementioned Act, which previously allowed transactions involving non-registered businesses or other entities, including individuals, to be legalized, provided that accurate documentation was submitted to the financial authority. The HDB bill specifically revokes the legality of such transactions if they involve activities that infringe upon public morality. What the hell? Section 2 directly addresses the inadvertent loophole created by the 1923 Act, which resulted in the unregulated existence of prostitution. This section of the HDB explicitly categorizes prostitution as an illegal activity, irrespective of whether it occurs with a registered or non-registered entity, thereby fortifying our commitment to uphold common decency and moral principles. Section 3 stipulates the penalties for the violations of the provisions in the preceding sections. It deems prostitution an illegal offense subject to punitive measures outlined by law. These measures can range from fines to imprisonment or both, depending on the severity and frequency of the violations. This all sounds just terrible, so we're going to veto that. It's like some stupid moral grandstanding by the far right, which we're not going to deal with. Alright, we got another news article here. From the Radical, protect storage sex workers. President Rain has vetoed the Human Dignity Bill. This bill would have seen sex work become an illegal offense and punishable by law. Sex workers already face high levels of discrimination. The world's oldest profession will always exist, but supporting sex workers with laws helps protect the health, safety, civil, and human rights of sex workers. Thankfully, the government has made the right call, vetoing this bigoted bill. Cool. Alright, Children for the Future Acts. In continuation of the efforts to promote social progress and upliftment, the Parliament introduces the Children for Future Act. This act focuses on providing tangible support to families in need, with particular attention to the welfare of children. Section 1 of the CFA outlines direct financial support mechanism for families not falling within the medium or high income brackets. The state will issue a fixed payment for every child in these families, offering much needed financial relief and ensuring the welfare of the child is not compromised due to economic circumstances. Section 2 of the CFA unlocks additional state support specifically aimed at children of unemployed families. It provides financing for each child's education and any special healthcare needs that may arise. This proactive approach aims to create a safety net for the most vulnerable, ensuring that every child, regardless of family's employment status, has access to education and healthcare. Oh boy, okay, this one's a problem. This is a bill we definitely want to sign, but those extra sanctions, we don't have the money. Jeez, okay, this is a tough one. Alright, you know what? Because of this, I think we're kind of screwed either way here, so I don't think we're going to win the election. So, I'm just going to sign it, and at least try to help some people. Screw it. It's fine. It's fine. We're sunk either way, so. Anyway. Let's see. Got an article here from Sword this day. Children of the Future. The Maine government has today passed the Children for Future Act. This bill provides parents in low-income bracket with a fixed payment for their children and ensures state support for children of unemployed families, financing their education and health care. This bill will improve the lives of countless children and families across Swordsland who all deserve a fair chance in life. No child should go without education and health care. That right there is why I decided to do it. I said we're pretty screwed either way at this point. Apparently, allying with Volkswagen was the wrong move. I did not expect the extra -2 budget from even further sanctions, but that's alright. Let's see. Then we have children benefits as a green welfare situation. So that's pretty cool at least. Alright. And let's go look at the Sword's debt debacle. Oh my god. The mounting government budget deficit and unsustainable borrowing have led to concerns among investors and analysts about the nation's ability to service its debt. Swordsland now faces a serious debt crisis. This lack of confidence has resulted in increased borrowing costs, a reduction in foreign investment, and the risk of a potential default which could have far-reaching consequences for the Sword's economy. Well, debts can be paid. Oh my. Well, this run went from looking really promising to just an utter collapse. Just like that. Okay, well. Let's go for a discussion on the current internal affairs and probably get yelled at some. The storm was on the horizon outside my window. Inside my office, however, it was very warm and cozy. I straightened myself on the sofa next to the fireplace and looked at Mansoon, who's sitting on the couch across from me. You can see her representing all 8 brutish members of the assembly. He had dark creases under his eyes from lack of sleep. As I said earlier, we've been working on this bill for a long time, Mr. President, so I've always done my best to represent my people, only to keep getting blocked in the Assembly. We can't have the same happen again. I have always brought my people's concerns to the Assembly and raised my voice whenever our rights are in question. All we ask is that the Assembly at least have a proper discussion. But all that we get is disrespect, MPs shouting racial slurs at us, not allowing us to speak, and it's not only the National Front. He sat for a moment and repositioned himself on his seat. Now I can speak freely without Mrs. Tory leading the floor, but the outcome is no different. The Assembly does not take us independence seriously, and we need your help. How can I help you, Mr. Leake? He gestured at the papers that I had received from him earlier. All we need is your support for our bill. It's time to undo the mistakes of the Sword's state against its citizens. I only ask you to help us make this single step for good instead of staying idle. Our proposal aims to form a committee for minority rights. And it will lift the banner of the British Freedom Party, as well as giving amnesty to all who are arrested for having ties to it. Their families are still waiting for them in Berger. It's not talking Soul's error anymore. It's time we try to clean up the taint he left on our history. I agree with you completely, Mr. Leake. Thank you for representing this noble cause. Glad to hear it, Mr. President. He rubbed his chin. So we have your supports? Yes, I'll form the commission to support your bill in the Assembly. Thank you, Mr. President. He rose up and walked up to me. He extended a hand. It means a lot, thank you. We shook hands. Suddenly, we heard a knock on the door and Lucien entered. Sir, I am sorry, I thought your meeting was over. Mr. President's already decided. We can call it over, Mr. Goddard. I was already leaving. Great, then we must go to the meeting room, sir. One of our new campaign advisors has some plans for the election. He's waiting for us. Alright, well, let's go. Alright, well, I was expecting to get yelled at there, so that went much better than I thought. Alright, well, let's see what this report is. Rumberg plane warned inside airspace. A lone Rumbergian warplane violated our airspace by entering the territory of Sordland for 2 minutes and left after issuing a radio message. Cool. So what the news articles? Alright, so we have 5 new articles here. So, first up, we got 2 of them from The Economists. Swordfish corporations bemoan Women's Liberation Acts. The heads of Sordland's large corporations wrote an open letter to The Economists in protest of the recently passed Women's Liberation Act, a new set of laws meant to grant equal rights to Swordfish women. They complained that the mandatory paid maternity leave policy will encourage their female workers to become pregnant, costing them vast amounts of money, saying nothing of the requirement that female employees must now be paid as much as their male counterparts. Proponents of the act argue that the influx of thousands of women into the workplace will offset these losses. Economists has yet to be convinced. Some good sexism. And Rich and Standard rates Sordland D-. Ventry City, Arcadia, 9:11 a.m. The Rich and Standard, one of the most prestigious credit rating agencies of the world, has officially decided to downgrade the rating of Sordland from B- to D-, while warning of further reductions if the government borrowings are reduced drastically the next year. The warning has led to many investors in Swordfish government bonds to panic and hold their upcoming purchases for the 5-year bonds. The Ministry of Economy and the Central Bank quickly urged calm and highlighted efforts to maintain stability. Markets did not recover, however, and the question of raising interest rates significantly on 5- and 10-year government bonds has now become a reality. Sordland finds itself between a rock and a hard place. Yup. Alright, from The Radical. Historic moment for Swordfish women as Liberation Act signed. We never thought we'd see this day. The Assembly, with the backing of President Anton Reign, threw its support behind the Women's Liberation Act, a sweeping bill that will make domestic violence illegal, in addition to supporting workplace equality and gender equal education. We still have a long way to go before we dismantle the patriarchal mindset that made such systemic sexism possible in the first place. But in the short term, thanks to Sierra Walda and the Women's Rights Commission, these new laws will help millions of Swordfish women. I signed that a while ago, and we're just now getting papers about it, but it's okay. And we have 2 here from Geopolitico. Arcasia's dual approach to refugees. Amidst rising religious persecution in the United Cantona and several hardline CSP nations, the Republic of Arcasia has opened its doors, positioning itself as a beacon of hope for the oppressed. To manage the influx, our Arcasian government has implemented a program integrating these refugees into the workforce, addressing both the nation's labor needs and providing meaningful employment to the newcomers. Beneficiaries of the program receive housing and various socioeconomic benefits, ensuring their transition is as smooth as possible. While some critics argue that this strategy could be viewed as opportunistic, many experts praise Arcasia for its dual approach, offering safe haven and economic opportunity. The refugees, in return, contribute significantly to the nation's growing sectors, especially in agriculture and manufacturing. By harnessing the potential of these individuals, Arcasia is not only enhancing its own economy, but also sending a clear signal against religious intolerance and in favor of human rights. And Volgsen blockades Helluland. According to reports coming from Helluland, the island is under complete blockade by the Volksanian Navy. 6 ships that transported goods to the island were forced to retreat when the Volksanian fleet fired at them. And it seems Chancellor Hegel decided to send troops into Helluland and seize control of the island. But why does Helluland matter to Volgsen? Located in the middle of the Markian Sea, Helluland has strong historical and cultural ties with Volgsen. It was Volksanian territory before it was annexed by Agnolia years ago, and one of the pretexts of this upcoming invasion by Volgsen has been to defend its citizens in Helluland. But Helluland's strategic importance goes a lot further. The port of Helioport, home of the Markian Sea Fleet, is vital to Volgsen's power in the Markian Sea and beyond. Of course, there's also a large group of Volgish living in Helluland who see the island as part of Volgsen. Volksanian nationalists have always been vocal about seeing the island as an integral part of their country. Cool. Alright. So, now we've got the Minority Rights Acts. Grand National Assembly, recognizing the vital importance of inclusivity and equal rights, introduces the Minority Rights Act to safeguard and champion the rights of all minorities residing in Swordsland. Section 1 of the MRA initiates the formation of a Minority Rights Commission. This body will be tasked with advocating for the interests and rights of all minority groups in Swordsland, ensuring fair representation, safeguarding against any forms of discrimination or bias. Section 2 of the MRA addresses the political representation of the Bludish community. It revokes the existing ban on the Bludish Freedom Party, along with other Bludish political entities. This provision ensures that the Bludish community, like all other communities, has the freedom to organize politically and contribute to the democratic process in Swordsland. Section 3 of the MRA outlines a path of reconciliation with past separatist activities. It grants amnesty to Bludish prisoners who were previously incarcerated due to their separatist actions. The step towards forgiveness and unity acknowledges the importance of moving forward and fostering harmony among all Swordsland citizens. We're obviously going to sign that. Especially since it doesn't cost anything. Fantastic. Alright. Well, we got a couple new things here, but honestly, that seems like a positive enough thing to end on here, especially after everything kind of went to hell there with those economic sanctions. Yeah, so much fun. Anyway, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope to see y'all next time.